So I got my top 5 lures of September, and we're doing the WNC edition. So WNC, all that means is Western North Carolina. So just keep in mind that these 5 baits are probably not going to work for you if you're somewhere like down south in Florida or Texas or places like that, lakes that have a lot of grass and you're still pitching grass and all that. But before we get into the top 5 baits, leave from my boat. Before we get into these top 5, just let me give you a background of who I am, just so you don't think I'm just like some random guy telling you how to fish and all that. But I live in Asheville, North Carolina. Most of my home lakes that I fish are, you know, like Lake James, Lake Julian, which is what I'm on right now. I fish a lot of Lake Norman, you know, lakes like that. Lake Douglas up in Tennessee, Lake Kiwi down in South Carolina, Joe Cassie, Lake Hartwell. So a lot of 50-mile radius lakes that I've got around, probably even more than that, probably like 100-mile radius. I'm not a tournament angler anymore. As of right now, I'm just a weekend warrior. I'm actually a full-time boxer. I'm I'm an amateur boxer out of Asheville, North Carolina. But I love fishing. Fishing is one of my hobbies. I fished the MLF collegiate circuit about 4 years ago for 3 seasons. You know, I always place like top 50, top 100 in every single tournament. You know, I fished against Tucker Smith, Trey, all those professional guys that are now pro. I fished, so whenever they were fishing the MLF collegiate and Bassmaster collegiate, I was fishing against those guys. So yeah, I've kind of just went all into fighting. The real reason why I'm actually filming this video is because you know, I haven't had time to film any type of videos. It's been such a long time since I've filmed any type of fishing videos. Like if you look at my page, it's been like all strictly boxing and fighting stuff, because that's what I'm doing now. Pretty much every day, you know, I train full time. Trying to go pro within the next 3 to 4, maybe 4 to 5 years. You know, I'm going out for the 2028 Olympics for Team Venezuela. But let's get back to fishing. Yeah, I haven't been able to film for a long time. It's been a super long time since I've been out on the water. The reason why I've gotten back into fishing lately is because I actually did tear my bicep there in my last fight, which is earlier this year in April. So, you know, I was kind of I've been out for 4.5 to 5 months. So all I've been doing is just fishing. You know, that's all I've been doing. I've been fishing pretty much like 3 to 4 times a week. You know, I've been going out on the weekends. But yeah, you know, since I can't train, or I'm just gonna be fishing until I get cleared to you know, train again and start sparring again and start fighting again. So all right, back to fishing. So let's start off with the number one bait, and that is my favorite. This is in my hands probably like 50% of the time that I'm on the water. I don't care if it's, you know, blue skies, dark clouds, whatever the type of temperature, whatever the type of weather that you're fishing, this is gonna be in my boat, and that's a crankbait. That's a crankbait, and I'm talking like 2XD all the way to 6XD. Right now I've got that 3XD tied on, but this lure, or these crankbaits, let me tell you, these fish start going crazy. And when you're fishing around the WNC area, you know, if you're fishing James, if you're fishing around Lake Kiwi, you know, Joe Cassie, Glenville, all those lakes like that, you better have you a crankbait tied on. And I try to back away from the square bills and shallow crankbaits. I'm not saying that I wouldn't throw it. I'm just saying that's probably not what I'm focusing on this time of year in September. I'm fishing a little bit deeper off points, a little bit not quite offshore yet, but we're getting there. So yeah, 3XD all the way to 6XD. What I usually do, I run the same setup for both, from a 2XD all the way to a 6XD. I'm running the exact same setup, and that's a 7.6 medium power, moderate fast action rod. This is a Cashion, however you want to say it, Cashion CRT rod. I got it paired up with a P Fluger Patriarch XD. This is a 6:4 gear ratio. I like that lower gear ratio to get more torque on those fish. You get more torque whenever you're working crankbaits. You get a lot of resistance, so you don't want anything high speed like a 7 or 8, 9, 10, 20 million gear ratio. So I like a 6-speed gear ratio. I'm always throwing 12-pound line. Maybe if I'm trying to fish offshore a little bit deeper, I would go down to 10-pound line. But for the most part, like 95% of the time, I'm throwing 12-pound fluorocarbon line, straight fluoro. I'm not doing any type of braid leader, none of that. But yeah, this is my crankbait setup, and this is my number one lure of September. Going on to number two. Number two, I have spinnerbait. You cannot beat a spinnerbait this time of year. September fishing, I do not go out. I don't care if I'm pond fishing, I don't care if I'm lake fishing, whatever, river fishing. I don't go out without a spinnerbait. My setup for this spinnerbait, I'll show you. Got a Strike King spinnerbait right here. It's a half-ounce spinnerbait. As far as trailer goes, I keep it simple. See that type of trailer I got that on. As far as setup goes, I got a 7.6 medium heavy fast action rod. This is a Enigma HPT rod, and I've got that paired up with an Enigma iPon or Epon, however you want to say it. All these reels got weird names, but this is also a 6:6 gear ratio. Just like fishing a crankbait, with a spinnerbait, you get a lot of resistance. You want a lot of torque. I don't like going up to an 8 to a 9 or 10 gear ratio, just because I don't have any power. Fishing a spinnerbait, you know, you want to slow it down. I can see if you're fishing like a 7.5 or 7:2 gear ratio, or any type of gear ratio in a 7-speed. I could see that, but anything above that, you're gonna have a hard time. You're gonna have a hard time fishing. You're gonna have a hard time letting those blades really spin. So I like staying in the 6 to 7 gear ratio, because if you're throwing a 7, even if you are throwing a 7, you still got to slow it down. You know, if you fish a 7-speed with the spinnerbait, you know, you gotta slow it down. So I know a lot of people say, and myself as well, you'd rather slow down rather than having to speed up, and that's true. You know, I would never throw a spinnerbait on like a 5-to-1 gear ratio, because I think it's too slow. It's too slow. But yeah, man, this reel is amazing. It's an Enigma Epon or iPon. They've got the high-speed spool bearings. I actually know the owner of the high-speed spool bearings. His name is Scott Bolio. I actually met him a long time ago, and he gave me like just a pack of like 10 high-speed bearings just for no reason, just because I bought a rod from him. But these bearings in this reel is, I mean, killer. I can even show you. You know this saying? You take it out here. You see if I got room to cast, but just that right there, effortless cast, and I'm getting 45 to 50 yards, you know. But just to show y'all, man, this reel paired with this rod is absolutely amazing. I don't see any advantages of throwing a spinnerbait on a shorter rod. I like a 7.6 medium heavy fast action. I know a lot of people say they like throwing shorter rods like a 6'10 or a 6'8, 6'9, something like that. I just don't see any advantage to it, because whenever you're throwing a spinnerbait, you want to get distance. And then I hear people saying, well, you can't get no short cast, dude. Look, all you have to do is pitch. Anytime you get around docks, you can still road cast with a 7.6. And I'm 5'10. I'm short. I'm 5'10. I'm short. So if I can make it work, there's no reason why you can't make it work. So anytime you get close quarters, all you do is back up a little bit, back off, get your trolling motor off, and start pitching the spinnerbait. That's all you got to do. Start pitching it. If you don't know how to pitch and you're on a boat, then you've got you got a lot of work to do, let me tell you that. But yeah, just start pitching, start making little roll casts, which you still can do with a 7.6 rod. And as far as weight wise, you know, I'm always throwing a half ounce works for me. You know, this isn't a spinnerbait. It's not meant to be worked off the bottom. It's not a bottom contact lure. It's meant to keep up top within that 2 to 5 foot range. So you know, a 7.6 is what works for me. And as far as line, I didn't even talk about the line. The line, I'm always throwing either 15 or 17 pound fluoro. I think that's what works for me. You know, if I'm throwing like if I gotta throw it a long ways, right? If I know I'm going to a lake that doesn't have a lot of docks, like here, perfect example of Lake Julian. I'm taking this bait and I'm chucking it a long ways. You know, there's not any docks around here. There are some laydowns, but you can still get away with it with a 7.6. So yeah, that is my second favorite lure of September fishing. All right, so moving on to number 3. Number 3 is, yep, you got to have some type of top water. I don't care if you're throwing a spook, I don't care if you're throwing a popper like I got on right now, but you have to have some type of top water whenever they start schooling, because in September you always see them schooling around. I can't tell you how many times I've been fishing a dock, right? Fishing a dock, boom, crankbait, spinnerbait. Now I see this one blow up over there, okay? I'm like, all right, you know, just let them blow up. As time goes on, I see more and more and more. Boom, boom, boom. So if you don't have any type of spook, any type of topwater lure, you're gonna miss out on a lot of big fish. You know, I'll tell you that right now. Yeah, right now I've got a popper tied on there. It's a Yozuri. You know, I've got that bone color. I think the bone color works around any type of blue skies, any type of dark clouds outside. I think a bone, the fish can always see like a bone or a white color. You know, I could see if you're like up north, you know, throwing like more translucent colors, but that's not the case for me. You know, here in North Carolina, this bone color works for me. No matter what lake I'm on, no matter how stained and no matter how clear the water is, the bone color, you can always see it. The fish can always see it, and they can always go up to it. As far as setup goes, let me see. This is the All-Star. I don't even know what this is. Like the only brand of this the only rod of this brand that I have. It's an All-Star Topwater special rod. All-Star. I don't even know what All-Star is. I don't. I just know that I got this rod. I've been using this setup for as long as I started tournament fishing, which has been like fucking 5-8 years ago. So this is the All-Star Topwater special rod. It's a 6-foot medium power fast action. I like a 6-foot. I don't like a 7-foot. I don't like a 7.6, 8-foot 9 million rod. You know, I like a 6-foot. Like I said, I'm 5'10". I'm short. I can do anything with this this setup. You know, if I'm throwing a spook a really long ways, people think that you can't get distance whenever you're throwing a short rod. Your distance has to do, yeah, it'll help you. It'll help you get, you know, more yards on that longer cast whenever you're throwing a longer rod. But that doesn't mean you can't get it out there to where you want it to go just because you have a shorter rod. So it's honestly mostly just about the reel. And this reel is a Daiwa Tula 100. It's an 8-to-1 gear ratio, but this reel, it casts a mile. So I would rather get a further casting reel than a longer rod, because if you have a too long of a rod and you can't get the right action, you're gonna bang your rod against your boat whenever you're walking the dog. So I like a 6-foot, a 6-foot to max, like max 6'10". I think that's what works for any type of treble hook topwater lure. Now if you're throwing a frog where you don't have to work it as much, where you're not working it, you know, you're working it from here, or you're just working it with your reel. Now if you're throwing a frog like that, then you can get away with a longer rod, which I do. I throw like a 7.4, 7.3 extra heavy rod for a frog. But anytime you're throwing a topwater lure that has treble hooks and you're going to be working it, all you're going to be doing is working it. I like a shorter rod. A shorter rod works for me for any type of topwater treble hook lure. As far as line, I'm going 15-pound mono, straight mono. I don't throw a braid to a leader. I don't know why, but I just like mono. I like monofilament. Anything from a 15-pound to a 17-pound monofilament, that's what I'm throwing. I think it casts good. It has a good diameter, so you can get it a long ways, and it has a good diameter to throw smaller lures and bigger lure. You're not going to break off. So yeah, I like a 15-pound mono to 17-pound monofilament, straight monofilament, and that should get the job done for you. If you're having and let me tell you, it all depends. It all depends on what type of hook set you have. You know, if you have a harder hook set, you know, I think mono is what works. Like me, you know, anytime I set the hook, I'm trying to get them out of there. I don't have time to play around with them. I'm not leaning back. I'm not doing none of that. If you've got braid, if you're throwing a straight braid or braid to a monofilament leader, then that's whenever you can back off the hook set a little bit, back off your drag a little bit, and you just lean back on it. That's all you got to do. But as far as me personally, I like straight mono because I have a super hard hook set. I don't like barely setting the hook. I mean, at times, you know, if you're throwing like a little Ned rig or something, something smaller, then yeah, you lean back on your hooks and your hook sets. But as far as me, I'm always doing a hard hook set. So yeah, 15-pound mono or a straight monofilament. That's what I like. My number 4 favorite lure or bait for September is a drop shot. As far as setup goes, As far as line, I like 15-pound braid. This 15-pound Daiwa J braid, super thin. You can cast this thing a mile. Leader, I'm always going 10 to 8-pound leader. Right now I've got 10-pound just because I'm throwing around a lot of structure. You know, I'm not throwing around grass. I also have, as far as weight, if I know I'm going to be fishing around grass, or if I'm going to be fishing around like super hard structure, then I like thinner diameter weight. You know, like a thin weight. But as of right now, you know, I'm throwing in the open water. I'm throwing it off points. I'm throwing it onto a point. I'm working it off the point, trying to get those fish to bite. So this is what works for me. It's a ball, like a ball type weight, tungsten or lead. This is lead, same, or not the same thing. You get more sensitivity with tungsten, but that doesn't mean you can't throw lead. Like, this is lead. I'll fill them perfectly fine. I've already got braid. I've got a super sensitive rod, so there's no reason for me to not throw lead. You know, if I'm fishing this, if you're fishing close quarters, back to pitching. You know, you're pitching, boom, 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 not there. You can work this just like you can a Texas rig. This is why I don't throw a Texas rig this time of year. I'm not saying that you can't, and I'm not saying that it won't work, but I'm just saying I won't throw it because I've got better options. You know, so as far as setup goes, I've already told you line. This is a 7-foot, what is it, the Johnny Morris Carbon Light combo. That's the rod and the reel. The combo came together, but this is a 7-foot medium light. It's a medium light rod. It's a fast action rod. I don't like a moderate fast or a moderate. I like a fast action rod because I'm working that tip real good. Boom, boom, no homo. As far as reel goes, it's 7.5 to 1 gear ratio. I don't see any benefit of throwing a slower gear ratio when you're fishing a drop shot, because you're bottom contact fishing. You know, if you have a problem with fishing too fast, you know, you can always go down to like a 6.8. But like I like a 7.5 to an 8 gear ratio, even a 9 gear ratio. You know, because you're working the bait with your rod. You know, you're not using your reel. You're not reeling it. You're not getting your action from reeling it. You know, you're getting your action from the rod. You're working it with your rod. So, yes, a 7-foot medium light fast action rod, and 7.5 to 1 to 8 to 9 speed gear ratio, 15-pound braid, and 10-pound leader 10-pound fluorocarbon leader. I don't like throwing a spinning rod. I've never gotten into spinning rods. You know, the only time I'll ever throw a spinning setup is if I'm trout fishing. And I can't even tell you the time that I've gone trout fishing. Like, it's been like over years. So especially now that you got the B.A.S.S, you know, you got all the B.A.S. setups. So the spinning rod days for me are absolutely done for. I don't get no accuracy. You know, I can see if I'm going down to a pond fishing with my family, you know, catching bluegill, that's when I'll throw. And even then, I've got a bluegill setup, which is a B.A.S. setup. So I'm throwing all B.A.S, all medium lights, all lights, ultralight, all on casting setups, bait catchers. And I don't feel like I get that accuracy with the spinning combo. I'm not saying it doesn't work. I'm not saying it won't work. I'm not telling you, oh, put your spinning rods down. I'm just saying I don't like throwing spinning combos because I don't get no accuracy. Even like this, if I'm throwing a drop shot, I can still cast this thing a mile. I can get even more distance throwing it on a bait caster than I would throwing it on a spinning combo. If I get around close quarters, I'm pitching. It's way more accurate. You got way more control if you fish a bait caster than a spinning combo. So yeah, that's my number 4 favorite. Some grass on there. That's my number 4 favorite lure, or bait, whatever you want to call it, whatever works best for you, bait, lure, whatever. That's my number 4 for September. So drop shot. All right, moving on to number 5. I didn't want to share this with y'all. You know, I like keeping stuff to myself a lot of times, but I just thought I would return the favor by just showing y'all this. You know, I'm not a tournament angler anymore. I know I'm just a weekend warrior right now, as of right now. But let me tell you, I can still catch these fish. I can still put a ton of fish in a boat. I guarantee you I can fish any tournament in the country and I'll place in the top 100, in the top 50, guaranteed, hands down. I've got a super ton of experience fishing. I've fished so long. I've been fishing for over 10 years. You know, I've got good experience. I know what I'm talking about. But not to brag, but I'm just saying, even just because I don't do tournament fishing anymore, I've fished the top of the top tournaments in the country against super top tier talent that are professionals right now. So back to the bait. I didn't want to share this with y'all, but it is an underspin. Let me tell you, this is the time of year where I put away my swim baits. I'm not saying you can't catch them. I'm not saying they won't work for you. I'm just saying this is the time where I start throwing a blade on the bottom of my swim baits, which is an underspin. And I'm always like 50-60% of the time I'm throwing a shad pattern. If you're fishing stained water, like, you know, chocolate milk water, you can go through like a chartreuse or a whites, you know, your blacks, whatever contrasts good against that stained water. But most of my home lakes right now are still pretty clear, so I'm always throwing a shad pattern. And always, this is the thing, this is the real secret juice right here, and that is the 1/4 ounce. 1/4 ounce. I don't go anything above that during September because these fish are getting lethargic. They've been getting caught all year. It's post-spawn. So I like downsizing. This isn't the time where I'm throwing a huge 1/2 ounce underspin. This is the time when I'm throwing a 1/4. 1/4 is what I like. I think you get extra bites. You get more bites on a 1/4. Because these fish, once they see that smaller profile spinner or underspin, they'll go crazy for this. I'm telling you, they will go absolutely crazy for it. If you want to get into the real juice, I don't even know if I want to tell you, but you can throw some bait fuel on there. Or let me show y'all some secret top tier secret juice that I've gotten from top of the top, one of the best of all time fishermen of all time, and that is Hank Cherry himself. I know him personally. I have a good relationship with him, but Hank Cherry actually put me on this. And you take a little bit of bait fuel. Take some bait fuel. I don't know why I'm telling y'all this right now, but just keep it to yourself. This is for all the WNC mountain people, right? You want to get more fish in a boat. You think September sucks, but it's because you don't have any scent. You don't have any scent. What's going to separate you from all the guys that's throwing the underspin? You know, nothing. So what you want to do is get you some bait fuel, put some on there, you know, put some on your fingers, rub that thing on there, give it a little bit of time to dry on land, on the water, and then just reapply it, you know, every, I would say to 30 to 40 casts. Reapply it. Just take a little bit, apply it on there, apply it on the blade too, on the head, rub it off on the line. That's all you want to do. You want to put some bait fuel or any type of scent, your favorite scent. I think scent is a big time thing this time of year, because you're fishing behind people. I've been fishing behind. I was on Lake James yesterday. You know, I caught him. You know, it was a tough day, but I still caught him. You know, and I was fishing behind people. I was pulling up, fishing behind people, fishing the same structure, the same docks, the same points as other people, and I'm fishing behind them. Let me tell you, no live scope. I don't run live scope. I've never had a live scope in my life, and I'm still catching these fish better than all these people that get live scopes, that have all that, you know, Mega Live 360 live scope. I'm not shitting on it. I'm not shitting on the live scopes. I'm just saying I don't have it, and I still catch better fish than all these people that do have live scopes. So that's all I'm saying. I'm not shitting on it. You know, I do want a live scope. I am saving up to get a live scope, but it's not my. I don't think you have to have it to catch quality and good fish. Maybe if you're fishing a high quality tournament, you absolutely have to have a live scope. Anytime that I fished, when I was on the MLF collegiate circuit, I fished without a live scope, and I placed anything from top 100 to top 50 every single tournament. So just to tell you, you don't need a live scope. You don't need a live scope. You can run your 2D, your down scan, and you can still catch these fish no matter where you're at. All right. So getting back to the bait, this is my number 5. This is the last one. This is the juice. All right, the juice right here. But it's a 1/4 ounce. 1/4 ounce specifically. I'm not talking 3/8. I'm not talking half ounce. I'm talking 1/4 ounce underspin. Okay. 50 to 60% of the time, I'm fishing it on an exposed hook. Exposed hook right there. Okay. I don't like exposing it because I just feel that whenever you expose it and underspin, you get a lot of strikes. Okay. You run this past a fish, right? The fish is right here. You run it past it, boom, boom, boom. A lot of times they'll just bump into it, boom, turn away from it. All right. If you've got that hook exposed, anytime they do any type of strike or anything to commit to biting it, it's always this, boom. Okay. If you've got it exposed, you're not going to hook those fish. Okay. It's already tell you, because you're not fully committing to it. If you've got that hook exposed, you're going to get more bites. You're going to land more fish in the boat. Period. That's the way it goes. As far as setup, I like a 7-foot medium light fast action. Like a fast action. This is the TFO Professional Series rod. I do believe these are dead stock. These are discontinued, but this is my, you know, metal to, you know, I throw finesse underspins, finesse spinnerbaits on this. I'll even throw like finesse little Texas rays on this because the sensitivity is still good on this. But yeah, it's a 7-foot medium light fast action rod, and as far as reel, I like a 6:2 to 1 gear ratio because I do like slowing down whenever I'm throwing an underspin. You got to let that blade spin. If it's going too fast, you're gonna get some turns. So if you're fishing this too fast, what's gonna happen is this. Okay, you cast it out there, it lands. You wanna. This is the kind of action that you want right here. Okay, if you're fishing a gear ratio that's too fast, 8:4 to 1, 9 to 1, 10 to 1. Boom, this is what you're gonna get. It's gonna go twisting and turning, then you're gonna get your line hooked all over it. So I like slowing down. I like a 6:2 to 1 gear ratio, and this is a Shimano Metanium. This isn't the MG or the new Shimano Metanium. This is the older model, the 2018 version, and it's a Shimano Metanium. As far as line, I'm always throwing 10-pound fluorocarbon, straight fluorocarbon. Yes, you can. This is the time where you can pull out braid. You know, you can pull out braid to a fluorocarbon leader. I would never fish this on straight braid just because I don't think you get the right action. And on braid, what'll happen is you cast it out there, and then look, that's what'll happen all day long if you fish braid on this. So don't fish straight braid on this. Fish straight fluorocarbon or braid to fluorocarbon leader. If you're a braid to fluoro person, make sure you got I would say like anything from 20 to 25 pound braid to a 10 to 12 pound fluorocarbon leader. I like running straight 10 pound fluorocarbon or 12 if I'm fishing around a lot of heavy structure. I'll take this off, put it on another reel, and I'll take the line from that reel and put it on here. So it's just real easy to do. You don't have to waste your line just because you're taking it off your reel. So 10 to 12 pound straight fluorocarbon and 6:2 to 1 gear ratio rod, or gear ratio reel, 7 foot medium light fast action rod. That's what it looks like. One more time. And that is pretty much it. All right, so just to give a conclusion of this video, the top 5 baits of September, WNC edition. You know, you got crankbait, 2 to 6 XD crankbaits. You got a 1/4 ounce underspin. That's the juice right there. That's what gets me the most bites, the most fish in September. So 1/4 ounce underspin, exposed hook. You got a drop shot. This is where you put your wacky rigs, your Texas rigs, Tokyo rigs, free rig. This is where you put all that stuff away, your jigs, put all that stuff away and pick up a drop shot for your bottom contact. Okay, if you want to fish bottom contact, if you want to fish off points, if you want to fish docks, you know, bottom contact, get you a drop shot. Spinnerbait, 1/2 ounce spinnerbait. You can always downsize if you want to, if you feel like you're not getting enough bites. And the last one was a Topwater treble hook lure, whether it's a popper or a spoot, whatever you want to throw out there, but just work it. Whether it's a wake bait, you can throw a wake bait, but just some type of treble hook Topwater lure. Works phenomenal this time of year. Anytime there's schooling, boom, you cast it out there. The reason why you want a treble hook lure is because a lot of times I don't fully commit to that blowout. A lot of times you're throwing your lure out here and they'll go boom, just bump it, just boom, they'll bump it. So with a treble hook lure, whether they bump it or they fully commit, you're gonna have a higher hookup ratio than if you would throwing a single hook like a Topwater frog or a horny toad or something like that. So those are my top 5 baits / lures of September WNC edition. Just to give you a heads up, it'll probably be a while before I film another fishing video, like another in-depth fishing video like this, just because I'm on my way to getting cleared to start training and fighting again. So I'll be too busy with that. I'm gonna let you know right now. So don't expect another video anytime soon, because you know that this is what I do full time is boxing. I'm a full-time boxer, so I can't. It's too hard to balance work, fighting, and fishing. It's way too hard to balance all that. So enjoy this video. I hope these top 5 baits will help you get more fish in the boat. And I just want you to like this video, leave a comment, let me know what you think. And as far as fighting and boxing, I'm still gonna post that, you know, on a daily, you know, shorts and videos and whatnot. But as far as fishing, that'll probably be it for a while. So I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope these top 5 baits will help you get more bites and get them in the boat this September. Don't stop going out on the water because you think September sucks. Okay, take these top 5 baits, fish them the right way. Some people playing disc golf over there, but take these top 5 baits, fish them the right way. A big tip that I like to add is always downsize. Downsize if you don't think you're getting enough bites with these top 5 baits. Downsize. Fish these same exact 5 and just downsize. Downsize, downsize, downsize. I can't say that enough. But yeah, I hope you like this video. Please just leave a comment. Let me know what you think. Let me know what works for you. Keep in mind that this is a WNC edition. It's not a whole country or a whole general top 5. This is the WNC edition. And you know, even if you are somewhere else, you know, across the country, take these top 5 and see if they work for you. You know, try something out, try something different. But see y'all on the next video. I promise you, I will try to film at least one more time this year, 2025. But if I don't, just keep up with the shorts. I'm always posting on my shorts. I try to as much as possible. Yeah, that's pretty much it, and I will see y'all on the next video.